Hello students, welcome back to our online class. Students, take out your English 1 book. Today we'll start chapter 4, Reaching for the Moon. So take page number 23. Reaching for the Moon. Dr. Indira Nair was part of the team that developed some of the instruments for India's mission to the moon, Chandrayaan 2. She is visiting the school where she studied as a child. She will have an interactive session with the students. The students are extremely excited about Dr. Nair's visit and are curious about India's space program. Mrs. Asha Vakil, the science teacher, is holding a discussion with the class. So, Dr. Indira Nair was a part of a team. Okay. Now, which team she belonged? Now, she belonged to a team which they have developed some instruments. Okay, instruments are like she is a part of India's mission to the moon. That is Chandrayaan 2. Chandrayaan 2 means it is a mission to the moon. Indira Nair, she studied in this school. The school we are talking about, she studied in this school, and that's why she visited in this school, and she will have an interactive session with the students, and the students are also extremely excited to meet Dr. Nair, and they are also very curious to know, means they are very eager to know about Indian space program. Now, why they are waiting? Because why the students are waiting for Dr. Nair? Because she knows much about space, is not it? Now, Mrs. Asha Vakil, the science teacher, is holding a discussion with the class. In the meantime, Mrs. Asha Vakil, who is a science teacher, she is holding a discussion in the class. Now, characters. Now, let us see what can. So, this is a play, children. Okay, so the science teacher is Mrs. Asha Vakil. Students of class 6C, Anuj, Kiran, Veronica, Sohail, Harpreet, Kartik, Jayant, Sara, Alan, Natasha and Ritesh. So these are the students of class 6, and Mrs. Asha Vakil is their science teacher. So they are discussing. A class in progress. So that means during the class they were discussing. Anuj, ma'am, is Dr. Nair a space scientist? So Anuj asked to Anuj asked to science teacher, that is Mrs. Vakil, that is Dr. Nair a space scientist? Now Kiran, what's the difference between a space scientist and an astronaut? So Kiran asked, what is the difference between space scientist and an astronaut? Mrs. Vakil, she laughed. Okay, Mrs. Vakil, laughing. I know you have many questions, but please take turns to ask questions. Sohail, what do you wish to say? So they were asking so many questions, and Mrs. Vakil, that is the science teacher, laughed, and they says, okay, stop. I know you have many questions in your mind and you want to ask. Please ask the question one by one. Okay. Now, then Mrs. Vakil addressed to Sohail. Yes, Sohail. So, do you have anything to say? Sohail, I know the answer of Kiran's question. A space scientist studies space and builds aircrafts. An astronaut travels into space in a spacecraft. Now, Sohail, then when the teacher asked the Sohail, do you have any question to ask? Then do you wish to say anything? Then Sohail replied, I know Kiran's question. I know the answer of Kiran's question. Okay, he replied. A space scientist. Now, what is the difference between space scientist and an astronaut? So the Sohail replied, okay, a space scientist studies space and build spacecraft. So space scientists used to study about the space of the universe, and also build spacecraft, that is the rockets. Okay. An astronaut travels into space in a spacecraft. Now, who is an astronaut? So the astronaut is a person who used to travel into the space in a spacecraft, that is, you can say, rocket. Mrs. Vakil, that's right. Many astronauts are also trained scientists, and sometimes they conduct experiments in space. Then Mrs. Vakil replied, yes, you are right. Many astronauts, though they are going in space, but they are also working as scientists because they have to conduct experiments in space. And Veronica, to answer your question, Vikram Sarabhai and Homi Bhabha were the first Indians to work on a space program. So Veronica also asked one question, is not it? So her question was, who was the first Indian scientist to explore space? So to this reply, the teacher said that Vikram Sarabhai and Homi Bhabha were the first Indians. Okay, they were the first Indians to work on a space program. Harpreet, I remember reading about it. They were the first to conduct experiments related to the Earth's upper atmosphere and cosmic rays. Now Harpreet said, yes ma'am, I remember that we have read this before. Now, and they were the first to conduct, and they were the first, that is the Vikram Sarabhai and Homi Bhabha were the first to conduct experiments related to the Earth's upper atmosphere. So there are atmosphere, exosphere, stratosphere is not it. So in atmosphere, in the Earth's upper atmosphere, they used to conduct experiments on upper atmosphere and the cosmic rays. Now what do you mean by cosmic rays? Cosmic rays means rays that reach the earth, from space. Mrs. Vakil, that's right. Now what do you know about the moon? Now Mrs. Vakil said, yes, you are right. Now she also added, now what do you know about moon? Veronica, on the moon we weigh 1/6 of our weight on the earth. Now Veronica replied that on the moon the weight we are having, so while going to the moon our weight will be 1/6 on reaching the moon. Anuj, this is because, now Anuj replied, how it weight 1/6 while going on the moon? This is because the gravity of the moon is not as strong as that of the earth. Now we have a gravitational force, is not it? The earth has a gravitational force, and that's why we are stuck to the earth, otherwise we might have fallen, is not it? So the gravitational force in the moon is less as compared to the earth, and that is why our body weight is 1/6 than on the earth. Harpreet, we also know that the moon's gravity causes tides in the seas and oceans. Now Harpreet also added, yes, we also know that the gravity of the moon causes tides in the seas and oceans. This is the moon. Suppose this is the ocean, then when there is a moon, then there used to be high tide. Okay, there used to be high tide, and when the moon just goes far away, then what happens? The tide used to become low. Clear? So it depends upon the moon's gravity about the of getting high tide and low tide in seas and oceans. Kiran, I had read that the moon has a very thin atmosphere. Okay. Now Kiran also said, now see, they all are having some knowledge or the other about the moon. So they are discussing in a class with their teacher regarding moon. So Kiran said she also read about moon, and moon has a very thin atmosphere. Okay, very thin atmosphere. It is almost a vacuum. It is like a vacuum. Now do you know what is the meaning of vacuum? Vacuum means an empty space that does not contain air. Now you see, vacuums can suck, is not it? Now it does not contain air. So if we give a vacuum in the glass, then it should simply stuck, is not it? So this is called vacuum. So it is almost a vacuum. So the sky appears black on the moon. So due to the vacuum only, the sky appears black on the moon. Mrs. Vakil, yes, and that is why no sound can be heard on the moon, because sound waves need a medium like air or water to travel, and that is why we cannot hear sounds in the moon. Why we cannot hear the sound on the moon? Because sound waves need a medium, is not it? Sound has to travel, is not it? For that, the sound needs medium like air or water, okay, to travel. You will learn about this soon. Kartik. But why do we explore space and send satellites to it? Now Kartik was also curious to know that why do we? So we know so many things about moon, but why do we explore space and send satellites to it? Explore space means why there is a need to do so many research on moon, and why do we explore space and send satellites to it? Now Mrs. Vakil said, space technology helps a country solve many of its everyday problems. For instance, the satellites we have in space are used to forecast weather conditions. We can now predict storms and cyclones much in advance and save people lives. For instance, in May 2020, we could rescue lakhs of people before cyclone Amphan hit our. We can use space technology to map our land and water resources. It is also used for electronic communication. Now, as Kartik asked, what is the need to explore space and to send satellites? So Mrs. Vakil said that space technology, okay, the technology which is available in the space, that helps us to forecast our weather conditions. How now we are getting here? Now we used to hear in the news, is not it, that tomorrow there will be cyclone, okay, the cyclone in West Bengal, that will be, and affected areas will be Assam, Bihar, like that. So how do we know? From this is the information we get from satellite, and that is what it is, the use of satellite. Now, she has also cited an example. For instance, the satellites we have in space are used to forecast weather conditions, as I have told just now. We can also predict storms and cyclones in advance. Now I have told that yes, tomorrow the weather will be 23 degrees Celsius. That tomorrow it will be 40 degrees Celsius hotness, is not it? And in addition to that, it can also give us information regarding cyclones, then regarding storms. Yes, tomorrow there will be a big storm, or day after tomorrow there will be a big storm, and the cyclone will be hitting the seashores of West Bengal. So these kind of information, where the people get? The people is the news reporters, they used to get information from the satellites. Again, see, in May 2020, there was a storm, there was a cyclone Amphan, and in that cyclone, when the cyclone did not hit the shores, people were alert. How? Because they instantly got the information that they were soon to be hit by cyclone. And what happened? Lakhs of people were rescued before the cyclone Amphan could affect them. So, and now this technology can also help to locate on the map the land and water resources. Okay. So this is all about the chapter. Okay. Now, so students, you read the chapter. So in the next class, we shall do the other portion. Thank you.